What if I told you that there is a doorway inside your own mind? A doorway so powerful that once you step through it, your old way of seeing the world completely dissolves. This doorway is called quantum consciousness. And here's the truth. Once you unlock it, there is no way back. You can't go back to ordinary thinking. You can't go back to believing you're powerless. You can't go back to living life on autopilot. Because when you awaken quantum consciousness, you see the universe and yourself in an entirely new dimension. This is not just philosophy. It's a fusion of cutting-edge science and timeless spiritual wisdom. Quantum consciousness is about realizing that you are not a separate observer of reality. You are a participant, a creator, a field of energy directly connected to everything around you. And the moment you truly experience this, your life begins to transform in ways you can't ignore. Opportunities show up. Synchronicities multiply. You feel guided instead of lost. Your reality bends to the energy you embody. So in this journey, we're going to explore three things. First is what quantum consciousness really is. Second is how awakening it changes your perception of reality forever. Third is how you can live daily as someone who is fully aligned with it. By the end, you'll understand why those who awaken to this truth say the same thing. There is no going back. Consciousness beyond the mind. Most people live their entire lives believing their consciousness is limited to their brain. The voice in their head, their thoughts, their memories. But quantum consciousness suggests something radically different. That your awareness is not produced by the brain, but that the brain is more like a receiver tuning into a universal field of consciousness. Think of it like a radio. The music doesn't come from the radio itself. The radio just tunes into a broadcast that's already in the air. In the same way, your brain doesn't create consciousness. It receives and interprets a signal from the quantum field. This means your awareness is not limited, not confined, and not bound by time or space. Instead, it is woven into the very fabric of reality itself. The quantum field and the observer effect. To understand this, let's return to one of the most mysterious discoveries in physics, the observer effect. In quantum experiments, particles exist in a state of probability, like waves of potential, until they are observed. Only then do they collapse into a single outcome. What does this mean for you? It means that your active observation, your awareness, isn't passive. It plays an active role in shaping reality. You are not just a spectator in the cosmic movie. You are the projector. Quantum consciousness is the realization of this truth. It's the moment you understand that your awareness has the power to collapse potential into reality. The shift from separation to unity. Ordinary consciousness tells you that you are separate. Separate from other people. Separate from the planet. Separate from the universe. But quantum consciousness reveals that separation is an illusion. When you awaken to it, you sense the interconnectedness of everything. You realize that your energy affects the collective, and the collective energy affects you. You begin to see life not as random chaos, but as a web of meaning where everything is connected by invisible threads of energy and intention. This is why people often describe their first experience of quantum consciousness as a moment of overwhelming awe, like waking up from a dream and realizing you are part of something infinite. Why there's no way back? Here's the thing. Once you've experienced this awakening, you can't unsee it. It's like learning to read. Once you know how, you can't go back to a time when letters were meaningless. The same is true for quantum consciousness. Once you know you're not powerless but a creator, you can't go back to victimhood. Once you've felt the oneness of everything, you can't go back to believing you're separate. Once you've experienced synchronicity and alignment, you can't go back to believing life is just random. This is the threshold. The moment you cross it, your old self begins to dissolve, and a new reality emerges. The death of the old self. When quantum consciousness awakens, something dramatic happens. You begin to notice the old you slipping away. The version of yourself that was driven by fear, limited by doubts, and trapped in old conditioning starts to dissolve. It's as if the universe shines a light on all the illusions you've been living under. Suddenly, you see how much of your life was shaped by borrowed beliefs. Beliefs from society, from your family, from your past. And in that moment, you realize none of that defines you anymore. This is why people say there's no going back. Once you've seen that you are more than your past, more than your limitations, and more than your body, you can never again shrink yourself into the old box. Expanded perception of reality. Another powerful shift is the expansion of perception. Things that once seemed ordinary now feel alive with meaning. Synchronicities, those strange coincidences, start appearing with uncanny frequency. You think of someone and they call you. You imagine an opportunity and it arrives within days. Skeptics might call it chance, but when you live in quantum consciousness, you know it's resonance. Your energy is tuning into the field, and the field is responding. Life feels less like a struggle and more like a dialogue with the universe. This is where the phrase, "life happens for me, not to me," becomes your reality. The emotional upgrade. Perhaps the most profound change is emotional. Before awakening, emotions often feel like reactions. Anger at a traffic jam, sadness from rejection, anxiety about the future. But in quantum consciousness, you realize emotions are signals. Vibrations guiding you toward alignment or disconnection. Gratitude becomes your default frequency. Not because everything is perfect, but because you sense the infinite intelligence behind every moment. Fear loses its grip because you no longer see yourself as a fragile being in a hostile universe. You see yourself as energy in motion, eternally connected to the whole. This emotional upgrade is irreversible. You may still feel fear or anger, but you'll never again mistake them for who you are. Stories of transformation. Consider Sarah, a corporate professional who spent years feeling trapped in stress and burnout. After a deep meditation retreat, she had what she described as a quantum awakening. She felt her body dissolve into light, and for the first time, she experienced herself as pure awareness. When she returned to her daily life, everything looked the same. Her office, her co-workers, her routine. But she was not the same. She approached her work with calm. She spoke with compassion, and opportunities seemed to flow to her without effort. Or think of David, who struggled with depression for years. When he began exploring quantum consciousness through visualization and breathwork, he realized that his thoughts weren't chains but frequencies. Within months, his energy shifted, and so did his life circumstances. He now describes his depression as the cocoon before the butterfly. These stories echo the same truth. Once you experience the shift, the old reality loses its grip. Tools to awaken quantum consciousness. So how do you begin to taste this awakening yourself? Here are 3 practical tools. 1. Quantum meditation. Sit in silence, close your eyes, and imagine dissolving the boundaries of your body. Feel yourself expand into the space around you, into the room, the city, the planet. Keep expanding until you feel yourself as the field itself. This practice helps your mind break free from the illusion of separation. 2. Future self-visualization. Each day, imagine the version of you who is already awakened. How do they walk, speak, and respond to challenges? Embody that version now. Over time, your brain rewires, and you start living as your future self in the present. 3. Energy journaling. Instead of writing what happened today, write the energy you broadcasted today. Was it fear, joy, or gratitude? Then set the intention for tomorrow's frequency. This trains you to become aware of your energetic signature, the very thing that shapes your reality. Practices like these don't just relax you. They shift you into a state where quantum consciousness can be felt directly. And once you feel it, you'll understand why there is no way back. Daily integration of quantum awareness. Awakening quantum consciousness is only the first step. To live fully in it, you must integrate it into your daily life. The goal is to maintain awareness of your energy, your thoughts, and your intentions at all times. Begin your mornings with a ritual that reminds you, you are not separate, you are energy. You are infinite. Even 5 minutes of mindful breathing, visualization, or gratitude can anchor you in this awareness. Throughout the day, pause periodically to check your frequency. Are you vibrating fear, frustration, or doubt? Or are you vibrating clarity, love, and possibility? These micro-adjustments keep you aligned with quantum reality rather than old patterns of limited thinking. Embodying the quantum self. The awakened self does not merely think differently, it behaves differently. You begin to embody the energy of a creator, calm under pressure, confident in uncertainty, and attuned to the subtle flow of opportunity. You notice patterns, coincidences, and synchronicities. The universe is no longer random. It is responsive. By embodying the quantum self, you broadcast the energy that aligns with your highest potential, and reality responds in kind. This embodiment transforms relationships, work, and personal goals. You influence the world not by controlling it, but by radiating the energy that draws the outcomes you desire. Shattering. Limiting beliefs. Permanently. Quantum consciousness dissolves the old stories that once constrained you. Fear, self-doubt, and scarcity-based thinking no longer hold the same weight. You learn to recognize thoughts as mere frequencies, movable, adjustable, and not inherently real. Daily practices such as affirmations, meditative visualization, and mindful journaling accelerate this process. Over time, the old identity, the one bound by limitations, fades, leaving a core awareness that is limitless and unshakable. This is why those who awaken quantum consciousness say, "There's no going back." The old self is gone, not in theory, but in felt reality. Becoming a quantum creator in the world. At this stage, manifestation becomes effortless. Opportunities, connections, and solutions begin to flow to you naturally because you are operating from a vibrational alignment rather than chasing outcomes. You begin to live as a co-creator of reality, not a passive participant. You understand the principle: energy attracts its equal. The people, experiences, and results you encounter are reflections of your consciousness. Your life transforms from a linear, struggle-filled path into a dynamic, flowing reality that mirrors the energy you radiate. Every choice, thought, and feeling becomes a deliberate tool for creation. Let's recap. Quantum consciousness is not just an idea, it's a living experience. It awakens you to the truth that your awareness is the engine of creation, that reality is infinitely responsive, and that you are more than your old limitations. Once you unlock it, your perception, emotions, and interactions with the world change forever. There is no turning back, not because you are trapped, but because you've stepped into a reality so vast, so aligned, and so alive that the old version of yourself feels impossibly small. The message is simple, yet profound. You are not a passenger of life. You are the energy that shapes it. Live consciously. Align your thoughts and emotions. Tap into the infinite field of possibilities. And remember, the moment you unlock quantum consciousness, you enter a journey without return. A journey into your highest, most expansive self.